Hey YouTube, welcome back to Luke's Amateur Hour. Today we're going to talk about networking cable. I'm going to show you really quickly how to crimp your own network cable connections, and this is really useful if you're running some new wiring for your house, or you're doing you're running a new office or something like that. You need some new Cat 5 cable, right? And so I got some Cat 5 cable here. So I'll go through the absolute basics. First off, if you're doing any long runs, if you're doing any like 100+ feet, anything like that, you're not exactly sure how how much cable you're going to need to get exactly where you need to go. Go ahead and buy a spool of cable, right? I bought a box of cable. I think I got 1,000 feet of Cat 5 cable for like $85. And if you look at like a 50 or 100 foot cable, you're going to spend close to that just for 100 feet. And it's just, the difference is they put the ends on it for you. Whereas if you buy the box, then you got to put the ends on yourself. So I went that way because I didn't know how much I would need. I probably needed about 215 feet to get from my router to my office, and I wanted a wired connection because I'm constantly doing conference calls over my computer and all that other jazz. So I needed a wired connection. So I bought the cable, this stuff. I bought a big box of this stuff. It's in another room, whatever. And I bought a crimper kit kind of thing. And this, get the kit. If you've never done this before, get the kit, and I'll show you why in a second. But there's a couple different types of cable you can get. I bought what's called direct burial, Cat 5, Category 5. RJ45 is the designation for the cable, but it's networking cable. It's 8 pair or 4 pair, whatever, 8 pair, and the direct burial has a stronger sheath around the cable, right? This black stuff is a stronger sheath around the bundle on the inside. And I knew I was running it outside, burying it. I actually ended up putting it in conduit, but I wasn't sure if I'd be doing that. So I wanted the heavier duty sheathing on this. So I went with direct burial. It does make crimping on the ends a little bit more difficult, but it makes it a little bit more difficult. It's really not bad. So it's a little bit tougher to like twist around and stuff like that because it's a stiffer cable, but if you're gonna, I think the difference between direct burial and non-direct burial was $20 for the 1,000 feet, something like that. I bought it all on Amazon. You can Google it on Amazon. It's probably cheaper now. So I sported for it, and I'm glad I did, because I run it around in some kind of abrasive areas, right? So I'm glad I have the stronger sheath on this stuff. So enough about the cable. I got a Ubi Gear cable tester and whatever plug network toolkit. This is the toolkit, and what you get with this is you get the crimper tool, right? It's got the cutter and the crimper. Let me make sure I got it. Yep, the cutter and the crimper. It's got a wire stripper. That's about as worthless as it looks, but it gets the job done. You can't really complain too bad about it. I mean, I think this whole kit was like 15 or 18 bucks. It's got 100 ends, right? So I can make 50 runs of cable with this. It's got 100 ends. And this is why you want to get the kit, because it comes with a tester. And if you don't have a tester, you're going to put your cables together and be like, okay, I think it works, but I don't know. We'll plug everything in and find out. I'll show you how this works in a second, but what you do is you plug one end of your cable in here, pull this off, take this to the other end, you plug your other end in here, you turn it on, and it sends a signal, just a light, down each wire, all the way through, in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you see this light up, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, you know you wired something backwards. That's it. If you don't see anything, if you see something not light up, that means the connection didn't make it correctly. If you see it light up in the correct order, you're good to go. So it's invaluable, if you ask me. Like this has saved me, because I've crimped ends incorrectly a couple times. So we'll set this aside, and I'm going to show you guys how to crimp one of these bad boys best I can. Right, it's been a little while. So first off, you got to get your cable sheathing off a little bit, and this the tool, right, I'm not an electrician. This tool's not that great. I'm trying to do it all in frame here. Oop. The cutters aren't the best in the world, and you might end up actually cutting cables. But okay, so like I said, I have the direct burial sheathing. It's usually on a regular cable. It's not going to be that hard. So that comes off. It's garbage. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 twisted pair. RJ45. I teach networking. I should know this, right? And they're all colored, and they're colored differently. If you're colorblind, don't know what to tell you here. The colors are brown and white brown, right? It's white with a brown stripe, green and white with a green stripe, orange and white with an orange stripe, and blue with white with a blue stripe. And you can look online. I'll put a link in the description for the actual wiring diagram, but for some reason everybody's decided in the world that they go a certain way, right? You have to do them in a certain way, and so the colors line up in a certain specific pattern. And so I'm going to try to remember what it is and show you guys that, but because I have a previous end that I had to cut off because I had to reroute some wiring, so I'm going to use that as the pattern. Don't take what I'm saying right here as the correct pattern. Take the link that I put in the description as the correct pattern, because I can't be bothered to edit this right now. I'm just gonna, we're doing it live here. So you want to get these all separated out a little bit, not too bad though, because you're going to need to keep them. They're going to get really snug in the end there specifically. Now the green and blue get split up, if I recall. So I want to straighten them out a little bit. The orange and brown ones, excuse me, don't get split out. Wow, quite as much. There we go. Okay, so according to this end, I got white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green. So I'm going to do white, orange, orange, and white, green, and then blue, white, blue. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to line them up, maybe not very close, but trying to line them up so that they're the correct order from left to right. Right, so I think I got it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab an end. Excuse the shaking, I haven't had my coffee for the day yet. It's I'm going to go do that right after this video. So we're going to try and line them up, and they don't need to be perfectly spaced because the end is going to do that for you. And then you just slide them into the end, and if they're lined up correctly and they're relatively straight, see if I can fix that guy. They're lined up correctly and they're relatively straight, and you slide them in, the end itself will align them into the channels where it needs to be, where the metal's going to crimp through on that. Alright, so I got that in there, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this in my crimping tool and hold down on it. That's it. I just crimped an end. Right, and I'm going to pause here, and well, maybe I'll edit this out. I don't know. I'm going to do the other end so I can show you guys what the tester looks like. So, cut. What a pain in the butt. If you want to get a better crimper set, get a set that actually cuts well, because this set does not cut that great. It is what it is though. I got what I paid for. Did I cut some wires? I did. I cut a wire. Damn. Well, there we go. We'll try this again. Let's see if this guy's gonna do it. I know it's not. Actually, that's pretty useful. I like that. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have bagged on this so much. I forgot that I used it for this. Just get it in there, give it a couple twists. How about that? Nice. Okay, so what did I do here? I did, look at my thing again here. White, orange, orange. I know I saved about $100, 150 bucks when I did this before. So we're gonna pause here as I line this up. You guys don't need to watch me lining this up again. Okay, think I got it. I think I got it lined up, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here. And hey, if it's not lined up, then it'll actually make a decent video, because I'll show you how the tester works when you bust it up. Now, the other thing is, on this end, I trimmed the sheath back a little too far. And I don't know if you can actually see this. I'm going to try and hold it up so you can actually see this. But there is, yeah, you can almost see it right there. There's a little notch that goes the width of it. That's what we're crimping down onto the cable. And you want to crimp that notch onto the sheath. It gets a better bite. Right? You don't want to necessarily crimp it on the ends. This one, you can see, come on, there it is. It crimped down on the sheath, right? So that one's good. This end, not so good. But we're going to go ahead because we're doing a demonstration here. So we're going to, the other way around. Only goes in one way. Crimp it down. There. Now I got a cable. Now, this cable might be garbage, might not work. It's only 3 feet long, 2.5 feet long. So no big deal there. But okay, so we got, plug her in one end. And then plug her in the other end. Okay. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Now, obviously this isn't always going to be right next to each other like this, right? For when I was doing this, I was in my living room in my house for the main, and then the remote was in my office here, which is outside across the driveway connected to the garage. So, you know, it might help to have somebody on the other end, but we're going to turn it on. And we're going to see. Yep, so I missed a couple cables on this. 1, 2 works, 3, 4 not so much. Wow, 1, 2 works, 3, 4, 5 works, 6 doesn't work, 7 works. 1, 2, 5, 7. Right, so I screwed up. This cable's garbage. Well, not the whole cable though. Right, and this is just a faster version of it. Not the whole cable though, right? So all I have to do now, because I know I screwed up, crimp off the garbage. Oh wait, that's the good end. That's the one I did right, I think. This is the one I messed up. Crimp off the bad one, chuck it, trim it, put on a new end, and we're good to go. Right? So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say that this is good. I might try and redo it one more time. If I get it working, I'll show you guys what it looks like when it works. But that's what it looks like when it fails. You can imagine the lights lighting up in the correct order, right? No big deal. But that's it. That's crimping a cable. And the first time I did it, it took me 3 or 4 tries to get the ends correct. And it's been a year since I put a cable together, so I'm going from memory here. But I'll put a link in the description for the standard for what order you want to put these in, the colors in from left to right. Follow the standard because reasons. Quite honestly though, if you're doing it at home, as long as you put both ends in the same exact order, it doesn't matter, because we're talking about electricity going over a wire. all the wires are the same, right? They're colored so you know which one's which. That's all. But if you want to follow the standard, go ahead and follow the standard, and I'll post a link to the standard in the description. I'll also try and dig up a link to this exact kit I have. It's good enough. For a DIYer, it is good enough. I don't think I paid a dime over $19 or $20 for it. And that's fine. That's what I was looking for. It's managed to put together 6 or 7 different runs of cable for me and some friends. So I've gotten my money's worth out of it. I haven't had to buy network cable. I will probably never have to buy more network cable. I got it all myself. I got another 20 or 30 runs of cable sitting in here, so at least. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy with it. I like it. If you need to run network cable, you can do this. It's really not hard at all. Strongly encourage you to do it. Yeah, it's a couple extra minutes, but you get exactly the length of cable you need. You get very little waste. You don't end up with spools of cable behind something, or the cable being only 6 inches shorter than you need it to be, which is the absolute worst. Go ahead and do this. It's worth it. It really is. That's all I had to say. Hey, look, if you guys like what I'm doing here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you like my channel, you like what I'm talking about here, go ahead and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos, or not. I don't care. Do what you want to do. But if you have a suggestion on easier ways to line up these cables in particular, or a suggestion on a really good but reasonably priced crimping tool, this one's okay. The cutter's kind of garbage. But the crimper works perfectly fine. So, I mean, that's the main purpose of this tool, right? And then you can use this dilly bopper here to do the whatchamacallers. So, yeah, if you have a suggestion on a really good tool that's reasonably priced, right? Don't tell me something off the Snap-on truck. Go ahead and post it in the comments below. Throw a link in there so other people can figure it out. But that's it. Thanks a lot for tuning in, YouTube. My name's Luke. I'm an amateur. This didn't take an hour. Have a good evening.